Word. Word.
Right, we're live and we're good. Hey there, Shinto.
Shinto, what's up?
Oh,
Gotta pull up chat again. What's going on? All right, cool. So episode 485, ready?
mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the show radio. It's episode 485. I'm your host, Andrew.
I'm Danny.
And this is your source for tech, gaming, and entertainment news. Head over to theshowradio.info. Once again, it's theshowradio.info. And check out our past shows. While you're there, subscribe and tell a friend about the show. Theshowradio.info is where you can find us. Daniela, what is going on with you?
Fighting off this cold. Although I feel and sound better than I did yesterday. It's a struggle.
Okay. You drink your tea, you got your ginger, you got all that good stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to jump right into it. The first thing I did see this week was the Apple bug for the Apple phones. So I'm very proud right now to be an Android owner after seeing that, and I shouldn't be, right? But what did you think of that whole fiasco when you saw it?
That it allows people to eavesdrop on other people?
Yeah, that thing.
I feel like, okay, yeah, it's wrong. But anytime I use anything on my phone, even though I'm like really, really into like social media and talking like that, I feel like I'm always being eavesdropped no matter what.
How come? How so?
I don't know. Maybe I'm one of those paranoid big brothers watching all the time type of people. But at the same time, like knowing that there was a possibility that confirms that there's that bug in there for eavesdropping makes me happy. I'm an Android user.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that they were going to wait a couple of more days before they issued the actual patch for it, which is this upcoming week. That while that's happening, it's still an issue right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But at the same time, is it so much a bug though?
It's a problem. That's
okay.
that's all
yeah, it is a problem. I'm not saying it is not a problem, but for me, it's like, is it so much a bug, or if it's I'm like, oh no, they know that we have the ability to do this quickly. Let's call it a bug.
Right. To save face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Chad is not cooperating with me. I think because my phone's on the charger, so the phone won't stay lit. And maybe I have to change the setting for the screen, so I may have to do that. But aside from that particular situation, well, let's go with what you said, right? It may not be a bug. They know exactly what they're doing, realizing what that particular thing is. So now we have to wait a week to get it to a place where they can actually fix it. I think that's too long.
And until then?
Not good. Until then, it's just whatever, right? People are just going to suffer until next week.
Well, okay. I really think that going with my mindset is that capability is there. And as much as it sounds paranoid,
right?
Big Brother is totally listening. Come on.
You think it's all the time? It's never off?
No, I don't think it. I think it's there. I think remotely its ability to turn it on. But I don't think it's so much. I think it's a bug that they allow the general consumer to be able to access or have that happen or enabled for them. But low-key, I think it's a feature for people who want to pay for that ability.
Okay. All right,
like
fair
Big
enough.
Brother.
Interesting thing. All right, so I think you're gonna have to help me navigate. Rue, what's up? Navigate the chat. I think I have it on 10-minute timeout stuff, so I'll probably go back and forth in it. Next thing we do have is the Hobbs and Shaw spinoff, which is for the Fast and Furious series. I know you're not necessarily interested in the series, but I'm curious your thoughts on this particular movie and trailer and stuff for this title.
I kind of really dug it, actually, to be honest. Like, I didn't think or feel that it was a Fast and the Furious movie, even though, like, if
Okay.
you look at it, you can see, I'm like, okay, you got the little flashy cars, the racing, and the explosions.
Right.
But
Is it because it's a comedy thing? Definitely good trailer, Rue. Is it a comedy? The comedy aspect of it that really got you? What do you think?
yeah, it was. It's a dynamic that's happening between The Rock and Jason Statham and this guy who kind of has like this superhero ability thing that's going on.
Right.
Like, that was a very interesting turn because I mean, it's not like you really had that flavor, I guess, in the Fast and Furious series where suddenly somebody has like is infused with this superhero ability here that makes them super
Great
strong.
character to do it with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Idris Elba.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a fav. I'm a fan. He's really dope.
He plays a
So
good bad guy and a good guy.
day one for you, or what do you think?
I don't know about day one. I will watch it. I will definitely watch it. Like, I don't like, I'm not bothered by this. What I think is
Okay.
very interesting is I never really thought of having Jason and The Rock in a movie before. And seeing
Okay.
it on screen, seeing it in the trailer, I'm like, I kind of dig this. It's kind of
But
what
they've been in a movie before, though.
not that that's super memorable to me. What was it?
Well, they were in Fast and Furious together, right?
I didn't watch that far into this Fast and Furious series.
Got it. Okay.
So
Fair enough.
that's how much I didn't really care. But like, looking at it this way, I kind of like it. What I find kind of funny is he kind of has like on screen and the storyline that it's going on. It really reminds me of the friendship and the chemistry that The Rock has with Kevin Hart.
Okay.
So I don't know. Like is that something that The Rock just puts out? Like, that's his like behind the scene personality that he brings out to it.
I
I thought
think
that was interesting.
I think based on some of the stuff that I've seen him do, like presentations to the NBA teams and those conversations, he's genuinely like a likable guy. But the other side of it is he can be really mean, but he's about the business of the industry, the passion about movie making and all that stuff. And anything that is going to prevent that from happening, then you see the other side that you've seen with Tyrese, right? But generally speaking, he's been like a pretty cool guy, whether it was on the wrestling ring, right? And like you said, the stuff that you've seen with Kevin Hart and those movies that he's put out. So I think I love the fact that it's an action comedy with two individuals that are great at what they do, right? Whether it was The Rock with the wrestling and all the movies that he's put out, and then Jason, who's done the Transporter in that series and those, somewhat martial art type films, right? Action, adventure films. So I think that duo in and of itself is a great combination.
So let me know which Fast and the Furious it was that they did together. I'll go back and watch that one.
Okay, yeah,
Because
I can definitely look
I
that up.
think I stopped watching the series around Tokyo Drift. I don't even know which number it is, but that's kind of where I stopped. I think that's the last one I watched.
They are making Winter Soldier. Can you elaborate on that, Rue? Danielle, you know anything about that?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, definitely elaborate on that and let us know what you mean by that. Next thing we have is a Captain Marvel clip. It was like 50 seconds, somewhere between, it was under a minute. That much is for sure. I want to hear your thoughts on that before I give mine. Go ahead.
That was a really weird way. Like, it's a nice teaser,
Right.
but I don't know. Like, it was cool that you show the action scenes of it and just drop that on people.
Right. Okay,
I really didn't
so
know. Like I literally just watched. I still don't know how to feel about it. Like it's cool, but
okay,
I'm like, uh, yay.
so it's all right. Okay, I'll go one way and then I'll go back the other way, right? So I think the clip game, if you will, right? Having a 50-second clip of something, 40-second clip, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, which is the Twitter max, 60-second clip, which is the Instagram max, right? And showing and showcasing something that you believe is going to add value to the product, because it's all marketing at the end of the day, is great. This one for me was a turnoff. I didn't really get excited about the sequence that they showed in that 50-second clip that they put out on Twitter. And and I think that's very telling for me, because the movie sets place in the past, right? From what I've seen, from what I understand, right? Because there's some characters who are alive now based on the whole stuff that we've seen with the other movies that we just watched by way of Avengers and all that stuff. It is Avengers, right? I want to make sure I'm saying that correctly. Some people didn't make it, right? Right. So now to see this, it's like, okay, I'm not impressed with the choreography of what I saw with that particular scene in that clip. And I think that maybe it's too far. Maybe I'm judging it too fast, but I don't think I am.
I think I gotta mirror that and not knowing how to feel because I wasn't. I guess it was underwhelming. I wasn't impressed by it. I'm like, okay, that looks cool.
Right.
But it didn't make me like, I need to see this movie now, or like, I can't wait till it comes out and I can watch it. Like, I kind of had this very neutral feeling towards it. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I don't,
Right.
for me, I don't think it had that effect that they're aiming for of building that hype.
Right. Right. It didn't achieve
Just
that.
not for me, it didn't.
It didn't achieve that. Okay, so let me see what's going on. All the action scenes, the color palette, chasing a cyborg guy. They are making Winter Soldier. Okay, I
Okay,
kind
I
of
get
get it. The
it. I
context
get
of
what you
what you're
mean.
saying now. I understand what you're saying. That's pretty neat, and that's actually funny because now that I think about it, yeah, that's what's going on. All right, so of course the Twitch thing is fun. Been doing a lot of that. I did a retro gaming session which lasted about 3 hours. We played some Streets of Rage. We went back, Turtles in Time, Hyperstone Heist, Battletoads. That was fun. So I was able to connect the retro stuff to the capture card to do that, and that was really really fun. Ninja got into gameplay that happened also. Definitely want to hear your thoughts about Twitch ads, because I know Twitch has been doing a lot of different conversations as it relates to the moderation of things, new tools for moderators, as well as the Twitch ad stuff, and their recent news postings. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, well, they really shouldn't be focusing on just a couple specific high money maker streamers that they have because it's not fair, especially advertising it on another person's stream. If they
Okay.
can control um the ads in which those ads are very specific and it shows up on those streamers channels,
Okay.
or even if they have them as ads on regular, cable TV or whatever, fine, whatever.
Okay.
But
So help me understand the ads that we're getting for Twitch, and I don't think I see them as much as this has become like news, right? Is it a specific ad according to what Rue was saying in the chat, or what is it really happening with that sequence?
um well, they did send out an apology for them making it specific in which they were showing, Pokemon and Ninja on other people's channels, and it was just so
Right.
centered on them. But I think the biggest pain is the fact that they changed how they handled the service or the paid subscription part of them that prevented you from having ads. So before, it was
Okay.
enough for you to be a Amazon Prime member and have your account linked and you wouldn't get commercials. And then a few months back they changed it. So now you get those commercials. Doesn't matter if you're a Prime member, but to get rid of the commercials, now you have to be a Turbo Twitch member, which they had
Okay.
before they were tied with Amazon, and it had the same effect. Either you could be subscribed to Amazon Prime, or you can be a Turbo Prime, and it got rid of your ads. Now it doesn't matter that you're Prime member, you still get the free games, but you got to deal with the ads, and they can be so long and relentless.
Okay.
And I think they're like, most of them are like 30 seconds, but those are the most painful and long 30 seconds ever. And I will
Okay.
personally and openly admit, I use ad blockers because I don't want to watch it.
Okay. That's fair
If
enough.
it's for a streamer that I really support and I can't subscribe to them because I think they get some part of the revenue from it, yeah, I'll turn off my ad blockers. I'll watch the ads for them. But most of the time, I'm like stream hopping. I'll go and check out somebody that's new. I really don't like that I have to, like, the moment I enter their stream, I'm immediately introduced
To
to
the
an
ad.
ad.
Right.
I really don't.
Okay. So as far as the variety, what does that look like? So based on what we're saying in chat, the variety, not the same ad for every channel. Are they considering making those changes to show different things?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. It's like I really don't know right now. Like Ruru says, there's
Okay.
very little variety, so you get the same commercials over and over and over again. I think it would be better suited if to add to the variety thing if you had, I guess, commercials that are closer to, I guess, what the game is currently being played or what is actually on that channel. If, like, for our podcast, if they had an ad for, microphones
Right.
or audio mixing or something like that, that's specific to whatever the channel is presenting or showcasing, is provides a variety and it's more specific.
Okay. Okay. Shout outs to Gamer Title Radio. I'm sad.
Why you sad? Why you sad
Why you
for?
sad? Why you sad? Let us know why you sad. Had to come to Twitch to find Andrew. Oh my God. We're doing that. What's going on? What's going on? Shout outs to you guys. You guys are doing amazing stuff over there at GTR. Okay, so the Dragon of Bethesda, I'm gonna have a link in that in the show notes. I definitely wanted to say all the notes that we're going to post and talk about on this show is gonna be on Discord. You can find that at theshowradio.info/Discord. Next thing I did see, Silent Hill turns 20. Did you see that? He ghosted me. I didn't ghost you. I didn't ghost you. Silent Hill turns 20. Your thoughts on that?
I can't believe it's been 20 years. Crazy.
Do you still consider that game a creepy game, based on like the environments, the rooms, the
100%.
the fog?
100%. And it's one of the first scary horror games that did it right and did it so well. I mean,
Right.
it's right up there. Like Resident Evil 2, the remake scares me. Resident Evil 7 scares me. But the original Resident Evil 2, it was more jump scares than it was scary.
Right.
Silent
Okay,
Hill was just
yeah,
scary,
it was just scary, right?
but it was so
And
good.
it was really good. Okay, so based on the fact that you played Resident Evil 7 and you also played recently the Resident Evil 2 remake, which is scarier, 7 or the 2 remake?
2.
Really? How come?
Uh like I don't know. It was just so much more intense. Like what
Did you clip any of the stuff that
there's
you
a
were
lot
doing?
of clips that I need to go through, but
Okay.
since I've been sick and so busy this week, when I finally finished it, I haven't gone through it yet, but I know there's clips that are made, and I've got to go through them and scrub through them. I'm going to compile all of them together.
Okay.
What made 2 so much more intense and scary, and it was like it was a type of scary that brought intense and anxiety to it.
Is it
And
because it was more lifelike with the zombies, the way they were
it's
moving,
not
that kind of
it's
thing?
not
Or
lifelike. Like I think what scared me the most was Mr. X. Like there's just something when he's chasing you down, and it's not like
right,
he's running after you. He just is this really tall dude that has really long strides who just keeps walking at you, and
right.
like how the music gets just like changes and his footsteps, they're just intense, and it was just scary, and there was this anxiety to it.
Right.
7 was, it had its scares, but it was so like there was so much talking in it that I was focused on the storyline than I was so much on the environment.
Now, did you do 7 with VR? Because there's
I tried
capability
to.
for
I
VR.
tried to. That
Okay.
was really hard. It was really hard
Okay.
to do that. I could not. I was too uncoordinated to do that. So I originally tried. That was a little bit freaky. It really was, because there's a moment where the dad just like in your face. Um,
Right.
but yeah, with Seven, I was definitely more focused on the story than the environment, even though it was a very nice, lush environment. Whereas with Two, there's a bit less of like the cutscenes and the stories or the talking between characters, and more of you paying attention to your surroundings and being so incredibly captivated by what's going on around you, and so
Right.
focused about every single little noise that made it so much more intense and scary for me.
So is it true that into when you're doing the puzzles and things like that, the zombies can attack you while you're trying to figure out the puzzles?
Can some puzzles,
Some
some.
puzzles. Okay.
There's some, like there's one that you do in the library. You got to move the bookcase, but you are being chased by Mr. X, and you also have like zombies that are in there.
Right.
But then there's some that like kind of brings you into another scene that you just focus on top of that, so you're like, it kind of doesn't. It's kind of like pressing the pause menu. So, but it still makes it really intense when you know that you got probably like a liquor, and there was one room. There was like 2 liquors in there, and I think 3
Right.
zombies. And I'm trying to do this frequency thing,
Okay.
and like
So
the
the
moment I
liquor
put
is
it in,
the wall thing,
yeah,
right? That
yeah.
drops. Okay.
And like I know the moment I pause it, or I'm in this thing trying to do the puzzle, like I know the moment that I unpause this, you're right there.
Right.
And it's so scary. Like I didn't want to, like I didn't want to get out of it. I didn't want to solve the puzzle immediately. I'm like, I need a breather. Let's just take a break here. There's a lot of times
Yeah.
in my panic moments, because I was playing it on keyboard, where I'll just like mash the buttons, and I tabbed out, or I brought up my Steam window. It just pauses everything. And
Nah.
it was a good feeling. But
I'm glad you're playing it for me.
if if there is gonna be a Silent Hill remake, not gonna lie, like I really, really hope, I kind of really super wish that
You
it's like
want
gonna
it.
be. I want it. I really want it. I
It might
want
be
it.
scarier
I
than the
want.
Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want it to be scarier. I want it. I want it to be scarier than
Oh
that.
no,
I want
man.
it to be intense, because like Silent Hill scared me more than Resident Evil. Like I said, like when it was original.
Right.
But if it could just be more than what Resident Evil 2 was, oh my
Right.
goodness, my horror heart would be so happy. So happy.
Better you than me. Better you than me. Aaron,
Hi,
what's up,
Aaron.
man? Thanks for hanging out. All right, so that's what's going on with that. Will you try Fortnite with a controller? I think they recently added the controller support for the mobile version of Fortnite, right? That's the word on the street. Would you try that?
Okay, that's what you meant. On the mobile, I didn't like playing it on mobile.
Okay.
Like I guess if I could get, I guess, a review issue of trying it on mobile, the controller, sure. But Fortnite itself, I didn't like on my phone. It was
Okay.
too clunky. It wasn't as fun, especially if you're coming from being able to play it on console or even PC. I don't know how I feel about it. I
Okay.
kind of really like my whole keyboard and mouse use.
Okay. Fair enough. Darksiders on Nintendo Switch. As a new Switch owner, what games are you looking forward to buying twice? What games are you specifically looking forward to checking out for your Switch? Is Darksiders on the list?
It is not on my list. It's on my Steam list. I don't think I
Okay.
want to play that one on there. Just because I think visually and graphically it'd be so much better on a more robust console or PC.
Okay.
There are games that look good on the Switch. I just don't picture Darksiders being one of them. And as far as what I'm looking forward to, especially for this year, is Animal Crossing and the Pokemon RPG.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. You don't need horror games on mobile. Switch. Okay. So Kingdom Hearts 3, that's been a conversation that's been taking place the last couple of days. Hot takes, chat. Daniela, what's going on with Kingdom? I can't even say Kingdom Hearts 3. Are you considering it? Do you care? Do you like the point updates in between point updates as it relates to that particular game? What are your thoughts on that?
That I will probably never ever play it.
Because
It's not for me.
okay,
It really isn't. It really isn't a title that I would consider playing. I did give it a try. I played the first one, or tried to play the first one, and I just could not. It didn't click with me. I didn't see the appeal. And I love Square Enix games. I love Disney, but
it looks
combining
great
them,
though.
yeah, it looks great.
It looks
It's a
yeah.
cool concept, and I was surprised that I did not care for the series. It just didn't really suit me. I don't know why, but um even then, I the story I feel sounds so convoluted and confusing. Like
Okay.
I don't understand the timeline and everything that's going, and why there were so many games that came out between 2 and 3 that I'm like, what is this
How many
2
how many
point
points how
whatever?
many points that they have? Stardust, thanks for following. Appreciate it. Definitely hang out with us. Discord, exclamation point Discord if you want to join the community where we post all the news and content there. What's the point system in between the points for the Kingdom Hearts games, and why do they feel that they have to do so many iterations to get to a place where people are satisfied with the game, or maybe not satisfied with the game?
That's the part that I still don't understand and I still don't get. And I've had people try to explain this to me, and I still don't get it. It was like, why? Why so many? Like, are you that money hungry? But
Okay, so to be fair,
that's just me.
okay, to be fair, have you played any of them? I have not.
I tried to play it, but I couldn't complete it. I just couldn't get into it
Okay,
whatsoever. I just, it didn't appeal to me. I tried playing the first one. Um,
okay,
the Aaron agrees with me. Convoluted.
convoluted.
Um,
Okay, what did you like?
I like the mashup of characters.
Okay,
That one I think is really cool to have all these different characters from different games, from the Disney. I thought that was awesome. I like that concept a whole lot. I like the RPG aspect, but taking those two together did not click with me
okay,
whatsoever. And like Aaron says, I like ice cream. I like pizza. I don't like ice cream on pizza. And it didn't.
right.
With that being said, I have so much appreciation for, the people who do like the Kingdom Hearts series, because they can be one of the most die-hard fans that I've come
Absolutely.
across. I don't, it's like I've come across people who either like the series or really, really love the series. Not so much in between of like, yeah, it's okay. No, like everybody I know that really likes the series and can't wait to play it, literally played every single one of them, even the ones on mobile, all the little 2 point whatevers it is, and followed along the story, and they loved it.
Okay, so here's a scenario. So, PlayStation has a sale, right? It's Kingdom Hearts 3, right? And the game is $7.99. Do you pull the trigger?
If it comes with 1 and 2 as well.
So you won't pull the trigger if it's Kingdom Hearts 3 only for $7.99.
Nah.
Okay, so there's some good
Well,
sales right now happening on PS.
for me, it's more because, well, I think the storyline continues on, and I'm not the
Right.
person that likes to jump in on a series and not really know what happened before. I still don't understand the story, and it was explained to me. Um, I really don't.
I'll
But
jump into 3.
it's I just can't. I just can't just jump in
Okay.
like that.
All right, fair enough. Don't worry, you can play all the Kingdom Heart games and you still won't be able to follow the story. The others have data controls. That's interesting. So this is going on with Kingdom Hearts. One of the pieces I started watching on YouTube is the last word Destiny lore by Bife. My name is Bife on YouTube. If you're big on Destiny, I'll post that in the Discord as well. Amazing narration, amazing compilation of information. You know, amazing storytelling, right? As it relates to, Bife is really good when it comes to the Destiny lore stuff. So if that's your thing, definitely check it out. Also did see a potential game that may take place called Pekin. Would you
Pekin.
play birds? That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Pekin.
Fighting birds.
Fighting birds. Would you play Fighting Birds?
It's I don't know if I'd pay more than like $3 for it on Steam. It's a novelty game, that's for sure. Because you're playing pigeons,
Right.
you're fighter pigeons, and the pigeons are it very much has a Hatoful Boyfriend feel to it, which Hatoful Boyfriend is a dating sim with birds, with pigeons.
Pekin 7.
7.
Rated R.
But
Yep.
yeah, it's definitely a novelty thing that you'll get a few laughs out of it for maybe a few hours. But yeah, there's no way I would pay anything more than $3 for that if I had to pay for something. I feel like that should be, I don't know, a flash game.
Okay. So would it be equivalent to the dive kick game versus this? Would you pay the same price for dive kick versus Pekin 7?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
That's fair.
I don't
That's fair.
know. Dive kick
That's fair.
is, I think, has better variety. I mean, they're birds, okay? They're birds.
Dive kick has better. How much variety does dive kick have versus
different characters at least?
fighting birds?
Unless you,
Okay.
unless Pekin is also going to have like flamingos, toucans as options.
Well, that's exciting. That's exciting.
Just saying.
That's exciting. All right, so
Dive kick up probably maybe like $5.
So I've learned something this week.
Okay.
I've learned something this week, but it had to break for me to fix it to learn this is actually a thing. So in OBS, right, this week I learned that you can actually configure your video input within OBS to the game capture software without leaving OBS to go to the game capture software to do that. I didn't know you could do that. So I was actually closing down OBS, going to the game capture software, changing the input to whether it's PS3 or, component stuff or HDMI for 360, and then closing that, then going to the OBS and then opening that up to play the thing. So after getting this complete meltdown, okay, and having it crash, you see Aaron, right? I realized that you can actually just change a component within the OBS system, and that made it possible for me to do the retro system gaming that we did, yesterday, which would be Friday night, right? I think that's when we did that. So that was fun. So having said all that, it's sad to see that the PS3 stuff is technically going away next month, right? Is that correct? Next month?
Yeah, March 8th. March 8th, they're not going to be including anything.
Right. How much of that were you following leading to this announcement that these things are going to be going away? And how has that affected you in any way?
It makes sense to me. Like I
Okay.
wouldn't say necessarily I was following it. I was aware of it. I knew it was coming. Made sure to claim all my PlayStation 3 and Vita games. But it makes sense. And what's up, Sharif and El Taco Justice?
Reeve Taco, what's up?
But it just makes sense, especially since I feel like we're literally maybe a couple years from PS5.
Okay. Right, which we
Um,
have some stuff to throw out there in terms of that, but go ahead.
and I think I'm more sad about the lack of the Vita support than I am the PS3.
Okay, because you still have your Vita.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have two Vitas?
No, but I'm gonna go and buy a backup one because I really love my Vita that much.
Right, right. I think I remember that conversation. Okay, so I have this conversation that I've had with individuals like Aaron and Taco and just thinking out loud on stream, right? As it relates to me being a very, very rebellious against the subscription model that we see, right? Very rebellious, right? To the point where I feel like we have more value, Subzeb, of keeping the consoles that we know and love, the 360s, the PS3s, the Dreamcast consoles, and all those things, and not necessarily be enslaved, for lack of a better term, to the subscription model of the $5.99, $6.99, $7.99, $8.99 passes for games that we probably had, right, at a particular point in time, but decided to trade it in at a particular game store and stuff like that. And now we're depending on these consoles, these creators to um, allow us the opportunity to play the games, right? These relics of the golden age, if you will, all these games that we loved on the new platforms, right? PS Now, the Game Passes, and all that stuff. And I think that um, it saddens me personally to see that individuals would love to play those things, but yet they can't because they don't have access to those consoles for whatever reason. It could be personal, it could be they didn't care to keep them, but yet we're still asking for backwards compatibility. Just thinking out loud. Just want to hear your thoughts on that. Like this is ending, as you said, next month, and we're hoping that PlayStation 5 will give the option to give backwards compatibility stuff. We're begging, as Aaron says, for remakes and things of that nature. Share some thoughts with me on that concept.
It's kind of sad that we are asking for remakes of stuff that we do own or we have experienced.
Right.
Because I am just asking for like Silent Hill here,
Absolutely.
and I do not like PS Now. I don't. It's one of the features and one of the things that PlayStation has that I don't care for. I don't want to be a part of. I don't want. Um, I don't understand exactly. Like I kind of get it why they took away PS3 Vita games, but it's not like it's not being supported still in a way. I mean, they only just recently ended support for their PS2. And that was what, 5, 6 months ago? And that's the PS2. Meaning like you're still kind of supporting the PS3, still supporting the Vita. I mean, I get they're not like producing or making any more of the Vitas, but it's not like it's a dead platform. It isn't. It's
Mm.
not nearly as popular, but there's still games being made for it. I mean, even limited run games has they got approval for more of the cartridges for the Vita games for them to put, typically what is only digital only to make them a physical
Nice.
copy. So that support is there. That audience still wants games for their Vita. So why take it away? Why remove that? Like if anything, leave the Vita, take away the PS3. It breaks my heart that they're doing that. And on top of it, I mean, I think they're trying to pull a fast one in the sense because what are you going to replace
Right.
for the PS3 games and the Vita games? That's like 4 games that they were essentially kind of giving you. Now they're going to be taking it away, but not changing how much our subscription based model is. So I feel like, okay, so we're going to expand your cloud storage from 10
Right.
gigs to 100 gigs, which is huge. That's a huge jump. Um But I don't even know how much I use my cloud storage. Like,
Right.
do you use that much cloud storage? Do you find it that useful? Because most of my games, I mean, it's kind of all locally stored there. I mean, if I really, 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 really need it, then sure, I'll put it on the cloud.
Right.
But is that enough to justify taking away 4 free titles?
No, I don't necessarily concerned for that much storage as it relates to the cloud stuff. Most of the stuff is small enough to do with the hard drive that's already in the machine, and I'm good. But it saddened me. It saddens me to see how much excitement we recently got when we were playing Lost Planet 2, right, which is an Xbox 360 title, and have the 360 here. I took a picture of it and I put it on Discord and stuff like that. We played that. We had a great time. Lost Planet 2 is not a game, if I remember correctly, that's available as a backwards compatibility game, right? Ninja Gaiden 2 isn't, right? Ninja Gaiden Black is, right? So there's certain titles that we would love to see on a regular basis by way of using those things, but not all the games that we would want to see are available, and they're not all going to be available. I understand that, but having the option to just go back into the time machine, if you will, and play those games have been fun. You will, as more 4K textures are released.
I wish that was an option. Like, I definitely
Okay.
wish that having, the 4K option was there, because not everybody
Right.
has the 4K capabilities or TV. I don't want to have all of those textures and assets if I don't have to have them.
Right.
But yeah, I get
I
what
would
you're
love
saying.
to see that. I would love to see that on Lost Planet 2 because that game is really, really dope. Okay, so PlayStation 6.50 update invites are going out for that. I didn't see any invite, for me personally. It doesn't sound like it's going to be a major adjustment on the front end, but on the back end is supposed to do a lot of security fixes and stuff like that. Are you following those updates closely, or what's your thoughts on those?
I've been really bad on the console front of things. I
Okay.
haven't turned on my PS4 in
Okay.
a few
Okay.
weeks.
Okay.
Really haven't. So I
Too
don't
much
I don't
Resident
even know
Evil.
I don't even know what I should be expecting or what to hope to expect, other than, I guess, you know what? I
Right. It's
really
not
don't,
a
because I don't have any personal problems with mine that I feel is buggy currently at the moment.
right. It sounded more like back end fixes stuff, but we'll see. Yeah, if there's any cool goodies that comes out of that, I'm sure we'll check those things out. Next thing I have a question for you, Chad. Please feel free to answer this question as well, since you're here hanging out. Thanks so much for hanging out as well. Should crossplay be optional? Should crossplay be optional? One of the things I recently saw, just a little backstory as I'm thinking about it, is I saw recently that Paladins decided to do crossplay, but it did not include PlayStation 4. I play right Paladins on PlayStation 4. I love the fact that they've made so many adjustments to the game where loading time and matchmaking is significantly shorter than it was last year, 2018, right? And even with the recent stuff that's going on with Sea of Thieves, with the optional crossplay conversation that's taking place with that, would you want every game to have the crossplay feature? What are your thoughts on that?
If it is very much PvE co-op centered, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Crossplay should at least be an optional thing, especially like Anthem. Anthem should have crossplay. That's like one of the titles that I feel should definitely be in there. As far as
Okay.
PvP, 100% has to be optional, because there's unfair advantages, and I believe, since I haven't really loaded up my Fortnite in a while, I
Right.
believe there
I
is
don't.
an option in there that you can choose to just be only on your console. You don't have
Okay.
to play with PC players. You don't have to play with any other console players. Just whatever that you're playing on. It narrows your search?
Right.
Definitely makes it a little bit harder.
But maybe it's me. Is it really that unfair for the keyboard and mouse versus a person with a controller? Like
That's
I don't. Is
debatable.
it?
That depends on who you're
It
asking.
is right.
Because for me, I
Right.
would say it is. I would definitely say it is because okay, so even though it's not a competitive thing, it's a single player game. Resident Evil 2. I was asked why I was playing it on PC. That's the copy that I got. I bought it for PC. I was asked why I wasn't using controller and I was using my keyboard and mouse. And I'm like, well, because I know I was going to be scared. And at least I know I have my guaranteed headshots because I can be accurate. I can't do that on a controller.
Okay.
And that could just be my lack of skill on controller.
Okay.
Whereas, my boyfriend played it on console with a controller and he's pretty dead on and spot on. And he plays Fortnite. He plays Fortnite with a controller, even though he's playing the PC version, because he's more accurate with controller than he is with keyboard and mouse. So that's very debatable about who you ask.
Okay.
So
Fair enough. Comments in the chat. What we got?
let's see. Zabia says, well, PlayStation has been a bit stingy when it comes to crossplay, especially with Xbox. That has to do with Realm Royale and just, that whole thing. Like, we're not going to party with the PS4 people. Aaron Shack says Destiny could use crossplay. I kick ass in Destiny 2 using controller on PC. Zabia says, if there's a small player base for a certain game, crossplay will benefit a lot. I 100% agree with that one. And Reef says, it's not impossible to be better using controller than mouse and keyboard, but you are at a disadvantage for sure.
I don't think so, though. I don't know why I feel that way. It's not impossible to be better using controller than mouse. I definitely agree with that, but I don't think it's like it's a disadvantage. And I like the fact that more games are supporting the fact that we're going to get the crossplay stuff. That's great. Destiny could use it. Subjective, maybe, because I kind of like Destiny the way it is right now, especially with all the changes that they're making, and Bungie is no longer Activision, or they're trying to separate that relationship over time or whatever. So I like the fact that the crossplay allowed Paladins to be faster in the matchmaking. I like that. You can aim better, but I can move better. It evens out, says Aaron. With KBM, you have higher accuracy, but with controller, you have better movement, in my opinion. Yeah, so it's debatable, right?
It is. That's why I said it's like it really depends on who you're asking.
Right.
And what they prefer and their comfort level. Like I am not nearly as comfortable with my controller use as I am with my keyboard mouse use. But okay, so when the whole crossplay thing, I feel if you start having all these multiplayer games, especially competitive or PvP games, Fortnite, Realm Royale, Paladins, even if like Overwatch, like full, crossplay and whatnot, you kind of eliminate the purpose of why you have a certain platform.
Okay.
Or why you choose. Like you start to like, well, if I can just play with anybody, what does it matter what platform I'm playing on? Which I feel is almost a bad sales point for Xbox, for PlayStation, for Nintendo. Because well, it doesn't really matter. So now that just means that you have to create better exclusive single player games to really lure people. Like you want an Xbox, you want a PlayStation for this. And I think I brought that up before too, before even Fortnite even introduced the whole cross platform play, is that you take away, like you might as well just have just one console to rule them all, and that's it.
Okay. Okay. I agree, but I think the aiming bonus outweighs the movement bonus, and that comes from Reef. All right, so there's an item that I don't have on here that I don't want to forget. Actually, I'm going to add it while we're doing this thing here.
With Sharif's actions, like I kind of agree, because you can't move if you're dead.
You can't move. Okay, so I don't think I have this on here. Quantic Dream going multi-platform, right? I think that's a conversation. That's the word, Quantic Dream going multi-platform. Are you excited about that? I know you like them as devs.
Yeah. Everybody should experience their games.
Well, you can buy it on the platform that it's on, right?
Yeah. good.
That's
But I
the
feel like
lore of.
if you are just specifically an Xbox player, that's
Okay.
one game isn't enough to convince you to go get it on PlayStation. I feel like
There was one
everybody,
game that did that for me.
yes,
Nathan Drake, Uncharted
everybody
2.
should everybody should experience Quantic Dreams games.
It changed me. Nathan Drake. No, Quantic Dream is really dope. I love the games that they have out. What was it? Over 1,000 permutations with the recent game that they put out. Why can't I think of the name right now?
Detroit.
With Kara and Detroit Become Human and all that stuff. So yeah, that's are we're still doing the movement stuff? It's this is a hot one. I think that varies with the game though. I take Gears for example, very high movement based. Just have all three. Okay.
Actually, you know what? I kind of actually agree with that. Gears I did, Gears 4 I played on PC.
Okay.
Not gonna lie, I could not play Gears on keyboard mouse whatsoever. I had to use my controller. But I don't know if that's so much it was just better overall, or the fact that I was so used and so conditioned playing 1, 2, 3, and that shall not be named Judgment with controller that I just kind of felt awkward.
Man, you feel that strongly about it, huh?
Yeah. But it felt more natural. It was probably the only game on PC in which like I felt better playing it on controller.
Okay. Next thing we have Inside Xbox. Do you watch it? Do you care? Why? Why not? Inside Xbox, Microsoft's semi-regular announcement show will broadcast its first episode of 2019 next week. Are we watching Xbox stuff? Chat, you guys watching Xbox stuff? Announcements, rollouts, tweets from Phil Spencer. I know Phil Spencer recently did a podcast with Major Nelson, which was the recent post for Major Nelson's podcast. Shared some kind of announcements, not announcements. Are you watching?
I forget about it.
From them?
I forget about it until after it already happened. And I think I kind of actually enjoy having like reading an article about it, or like, hey, this is what was talked about, bam, 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 and let's kind of be done with it. I kind of forget about it. Aaron watches it here.
Aaron watches it. Okay,
Aaron
fair
watches
enough.
it.
Definitely played Gears on PC with the controller. Same with Forza, Assassin's Creed, and a few others, says Reef. So I'm trying to figure out. I keep up with it. Microsoft is making really interesting moves. Definitely making really interesting moves, especially some of the things that they've been talking about as it relates to E3 stuff approaching for this year, since PlayStation is not there. So looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with that stuff. I tend to watch it live if I can, on 2X if I missed it, right? So if I'm able to watch it on 2X, I'll watch it on 2X and catch up on the entire show. Most stuff I watch on 2X, YouTube on 2X and stuff like that. And it's great because I could just knock out, most of that stuff really, really quickly. All right. So that's what's going on with that. Super Mario movie. Do you want one? You want a Super Mario movie? Should they make
Only
it?
as long as I don't have those really goofy Goombas.
Okay.
And it doesn't have John Leguizamo.
Okay.
Then yeah, sure.
I try to forget about that whole. I try to forget about that whole experience. I tried to until now. Thanks, Daniela.
You're
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. What was that?
When I heard Microsoft picked up Ninja Theory, I was overfilled with joy.
Nice. A tiny head Goombas. I would love to see the episodic stuff for the Super Mario stuff. I don't necessarily want to see a movie. I love how Mario is going through different stages and worlds as we've seen in the games. I would love to see something like that, similar to the episodic sequence as we've seen for the Netflix and those different animes and stuff like that, right? Which is traditional as it relates to the animes, right? 23 minutes, 23 episodes kind of thing, give or take, something like that. It's usually like this formula that they have for it. If they did something like that for Mario, even with the little Sonic clips that we've been seeing, that there's no words in, but the sounds are so amazing that those clips that they've been posting out, I think there's about 3 or 4 episodes of those things. Those have been great to enjoy if you're a fan of the Sonic stuff. But I don't think I'm really all in on a Super Mario movie at this time.
Well,
Cool.
eh,
Not cool?
I guess well, I guess it's kind of cool. It really depends because it's so scary still of when a video game is made into a movie.
Mm.
Because I even think that the Resident Evil movie series is a bit questionable. Not a bit. It's a lot of questionable. Um like I try to not think that is even remotely anything to do with the Resident Evil video games. Like I just think of them like you're in your own terrible world by yourself. The fact that they're rebooting it again, I'm like, gosh, and it's with Mila Jovovich. I don't know how I feel about it. But there is. I mean, there's the Nathan Drake movie that's going to be coming out. Well, although they're kind of having a hard time getting that off of the ground.
Right. And the fan film was great.
Yeah, it was. And then you have
They should do more of that.
they have the Sonic movie that's coming out.
Right. The Pikachu movie is out.
Yeah, that's
coming out.
well, the Detective Pikachu. I don't like. I feel a bit better about that one because it's not directly about the video game. It has Pokemon, yes, but it's not like they're bringing to life with Ash Ketchum and 11, 12-year-old boy who leaves home to become the greatest Pokemaster.
Right.
It's kind of like doing its own little thing. So when it comes to like Super Mario movie, I mean, it can't be any worse than the first one, right?
I hope not.
Or the first attempt, not the first one, the first attempt.
Right. I hope not.
No, we do not mention Netflix real life takes on anime. That is taboo.
It can't be that bad. It can't be that bad.
Death Note on Netflix was bad. Bleach
But not
on Netflix
everything-
was pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. It's not all bad, right? So if it's carefully crafted and carefully done, it could work. There's some stuff that's working right now on Netflix. It's not all bad. Like for the stuff that people focus on specifically on Netflix that are horrible in terms of the rendition of it. I don't know if that's the right word for the right context or whatever. But there's been some really, really good stuff overall, right? As it relates to Netflix. And I think that they're doing what they can to give us some good content. That's all I have there.
One last comment from
good?
Sabia
Go ahead.
that I agree with. Sabia says that because the people that make the actual movies have not played the game and don't have the personal connections as gamers do. I think the same thing goes with people who read a book and it gets turned into a movie. I think it's almost the same exact thing. Is that when you read a book and you're a fan of it, you have such high expectations for the game that when it doesn't meet it, you're really heartbroken. Same thing for a game. That you're such a fan, you're so developed or enveloped and what's the word I'm looking for? Invested into a video game, and when it's brought into the big screen and it just doesn't relate the same way, it shows. It shows with the audience.
Okay.
100%. Kind of like, you know what's funny? Okay, so not a video game, but an anime that turned into Avatar. Not the blue alien people, but Avatar the Airbender.
Airbender. What about it?
The worst live action attempt I've ever seen of any anime. CGI was really cool. Everything else was crap. It was terrible. But there are people
I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
The people I heard like Death Note. I don't know, man. The people who didn't really watch anime of Avatar, they loved it. They really liked it. They thought it was a great movie. I'm like, you go watch that cartoon and you come back and you tell me you think that was really great. Was not.
Okay. Attack on Titan. They did a film, right?
Yeah, they did.
How was that?
I liked it. That was good. But it wasn't really made
Was it
by
good?
Yes.
Okay.
It was, but it wasn't really made by, a US company.
Okay.
And Japan really likes their anime, so they're not going to screw up a live action movie. Don't even
Dragon
tell me
Ball
about Dragon Ball Evolution. Don't or
Evolution.
or there is some bad live action. No, okay, you know what? I'm going to change my answer. No, I do not want a Super Mario movie.
You don't now. You don't want it. Okay, fine. All right, so we're gonna move. We're gonna move.
I don't want that because you just like
You don't want
all
that.
these terrible things. Because I'm thinking of now. You know what was so good because it was so cheesy and bad? It was Street Fighter. It was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I kind of like that.
I did like that too. It was like so cheesy, it was bad.
Yeah, I kind of
As a
like those because I'm a fan of the series, and so I really like that. All right, so fair enough. So those things are really neat. Next thing I do have is Apple considering game publishing. Thought about it, didn't think about it. Thought about it, didn't think about it. Now they're thinking about it again, right? And the subscription model, as we were talking about before, is the thing, right? Everyone is doing it, right? Netflix, increase prices. Hulu decreases prices. You got the PS Now. You have the ESPN stuff that has a subscription model. You have the Disney stuff with the subscription model. So it's a thing. It's a thing. So now Apple wants some, right?
yeah.
Is it good if Apple gets into that game?
No, because if Apple gets into it, Android users or whatever, Google Play, they're gonna get into it. I don't no more subscription services.
It's money. It's recurring funds, right? It works.
For marketing business purposes, it makes sense. Yes. It's gonna
Right.
work. They see the money, it's lucrative for them, makes sense for them to dive into it. As a consumer, no, I
Right.
don't want it. So
You don't want it.
but this doesn't also apply to me. For me, because I'm an Android user, I'm never gonna be an Apple user. You can hold me to that. I don't care. You can bring up the sound clip from like 10 years from now. I'm not gonna be an Apple user.
All right, so check this out. Listen to this. Despite being one of the leading voices when it comes to technology in the world, Apple has historically chosen to distance itself from gaming. The company will happily host games on their app stores, but rumors of consoles or development studios have always fallen flat in reality, right? According to a new report, however, Apple might have finally decided to dip more than their toes in the water in the form of a subscription gaming service and possibly even publishing deals. So that's the word on the streets. Hi, how we doing? What's happening? Just recording a podcast here. How you doing?
Okay, so I want to know, it's like, are we gonna get to that point where mobile games are exclusive to one or the other? Like, where does that end? Or they want to have their publishing deals, but wait, how is that different from like having the iTunes store and games that are published on there? Like, what is the difference there? What is the difference between having this gaming subscription service, whether it be on Apple or it be on the Google Play Store, that they're not getting from the games that are available on there now? I mean, people when app developers submit their game to iTunes or Google Play, like they still got to go through the same process. Is there more money to me made from it?
Yeah.
What kind of more money? Is it more money for Apple? Is it more money for the developer?
Okay, so here's the thing with the subscription model, right? So let's take we keep talking about that, right? So I may have to throw that in the title, maybe. Thanks for following, Alex. Appreciate that. Definitely hit up the Discord, join the community there. We post links and good stuff in there for sure. Welcome. The subscription model makes money, right? It makes money. We know it makes money. That's why we subscribe to all these different services, because it works. Even though we're not watching the money that we're paying, we're not really watching that much content. Well, maybe there's exceptions to the rule. Let me slow down a little bit. Daniela, you may be watching your Netflix, monthly amount versus me. Okay, you probably getting your value, because you watch a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I may not necessarily be getting the value that I'm paying for whatever it is, $9.99 or whatever, for the Netflix. But the thing is, it works, right? And the games that you have in PS Now, you probably didn't play a good portion of those games to stream those titles for PlayStation 3, right? Right. I think I'm saying that correctly. But you've been paying for the service for a long time.
Yeah.
And they're getting more from you than you're getting from the value of the actual subscription service. In this example, PS Now, right? So if Apple gets into the game, I think it's going to be something very similar. Like most of the times that we subscribe to those things, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm paying for it already. I know it's there. I can go to it whenever I want to go to it. But sometimes you could spend maybe weeks, maybe days not using the service, and then the bill comes up and then you just got charged again for $9.99, $12.99. I'm just saying, like, this is not everybody's situation, right? But if there was a survey done for the value versus the monthly amount that you're paying for, I'm sure it'll be lopsided. That's the point I'm trying to make. So if Apple gets into the game, they'll get that money.
Well, they're getting the money now just having their stuff on iTunes. So what's the difference?
They're going to get more.
They get more. Does that mean more for the developers as well?
Well, according to the particular article, it says specifically subscription models as well as game publishing deals, right? So they're going to dip their toe in both of those things, potentially, allegedly, according to the rumors, right?
I'm still going to stick with Xavier that no, Apple needs to stay out of the whole gaming thing, because I'm not saying Apple would do a terrible job at it.
Right.
Apple does some pretty remarkable stuff. But I feel that they have a great enough influence that if they were to get into it, they could definitely change the way things are going to be handled as far as mobile gaming goes, which I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that change. Kind of like the way it is now.
The answer to your question is it's still rumors. So they're using generic language. So they're considering the subscription stuff. They're considering what was the other thing I said? The game publishing stuff, but it doesn't say exactly how much they're going to be doing with that.
Or what it would be like. There's still going to be a subscription model somewhere in there.
But it's out there.
Some way.
It's going to be equivalent, if not very close to the amounts that you're paying right now, because we've shown that we're going to pay a certain amount for these services, and some of them are higher than others, and it's all marketing, right? Netflix went up, Hulu went down, right? So it's all marketing at the end of the day. Somebody's going to get that money.
If Apple I'm paying for a subscription for like a subscription plan for Apple for their games, man, like they gotta. I don't even know. I don't even know where to go with that. I don't know what I would want if I was to pay for a subscription service for video games or mobile games. I really don't know what I would want from it.
Okay, so now this goes back to what I was saying before. Okay, so sorry, but why pay for a sub in a game? Why not just get the game instead by itself, right? Which goes back to what I was saying before, which is why the Xbox 360 is still here and the games are still here. I am not going to, if I really want a game to stream, I'm going to go to Amazon or a place of deals, and then get the game on that, or maybe even go to GameStop and find the game for like $5, $6, come back and stream it and add so much value to my community and my stream, right? Instead of jumping into a subscription model that may not necessarily have, right? Mm-hmm. It goes back to what we were talking about before. And that's why I'm like rebellious against that entire system to some degree, because I still do. Well, Uriah, that doesn't make sense because you subscribe to, PlayStation Plus, and sometimes you've done Xbox Live. That's true. I have. I'm not on Xbox Live right now, but I am on PlayStation Plus and Netflix mostly. My wife uses the Hulu most of the time, so there's a couple of them. But outside of that, I'm not gonna do the PS Now just to play a PlayStation 3 game. I'm not doing that. So I agree.
There's got to
So let's go
be,
back to that.
I would want there to be a middle ground in between. So, like for
Yeah.
PlayStation, for example, we have different
Yeah.
launchers for different things and different games, but we also have
Right.
that option to go and like purchase from GOG to get a DRM free game in which it's not tied to a specific launcher
Right.
and just play it that way. Like there's got to be some kind of middle ground too, in which I have the option to say if there is a mobile game that I want to play, that I can just go to that developer's page and you know what? I'll just buy the game directly from your page. I don't care. And I can just have the APK there. Just like, okay,
Right.
I'll just download this and install it on my own.
Right. I'm good with that.
There's got to be a weird balance. There's got to be some kind of like balance to it in which it's kind of fair. And that's the only reason why people would subscribe to that is maybe they don't feel comfortable installing APKs on their own. I'm not too sure. I don't know what the equivalent is for an Apple if they have one.
Right.
But I feel if
Money.
if Apple gets into it, then you know,
It's money.
Andrew, I
It's
know
money.
everything's money.
It's money. That's what it is. It's money. All right. So
Cream, right?
can we
That's
do
the
a
name of the
little-
song. Cream, cash rules everything around me.
casuals everything. Dude, thanks for the bits. Thanks so much. Really do appreciate that. All right, so Cream, get the money. $1 bill, yo. Why you do that? Why you do that? You threw me off now. I'm trying to. All right, so exclusives. Do they still lure you to one platform or another? Exclusives. Do they still lure you to one platform or another? So, quick story is gonna be really quick.
Okay.
Uncharted 2 got me to the PlayStation stuff, right? And I haven't left since. I did have the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, but really got me hooked back in was Uncharted 2. Stayed on that platform, went to PlayStation 4, and here we are.
Thank you for the bits, Alex.
Thanks for the best, Alex. Appreciate that. Thanks so much.
I don't think so.
Right,
Well,
because
that's
before
also
earlier,
really hard for me to answer because
I'm gonna
I
give you a little
have
bit
all
more.
of them.
I'm gonna
Okay,
give
go
you.
ahead.
I'm gonna
go
give you a
ahead.
little bit more, right? Because before we were talking about Quantic Dreams at the very top, right? A few notes back, that they're deciding to go multi-platform, right?
Yeah.
So all their games are just going to be out and about for everybody to get, right? So even now, as you see the titles coming out for either Switch or PC stuff that you're doing heavily on, and even the consoles, the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, are those exclusives still alluring you to go towards a particular platform, even for a season? Chat, you can weigh in on this as well, please.
I still want to say no because the Switch was the last thing that I got, and I know like when they announced that the World Ends with You was going to be on the Switch, I said like in October, like that's the one that I'm going to buy a Switch for, and I had every intentions of like I'm going to buy a Switch that month when that game releases, and that's going to be it. But you know what? Ultimately, when it came down to it, I'm like, you know what? No, I can hold off for this still. And because honestly, the Switch was the last platform that I owned. Even though I own them all now, I think I'm a little bit rebellious on the thing of like I really don't like that feeling of being forced to choose. I don't like it. I like having my options open. So I'm a patient enough person now that I can wait for the day that they probably have it on another console, and I'll choose, or they'll have it on PC. I am patient enough. If you would have asked me like 5 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, they can totally lure me. But now I feel like I'm reached a point in my gaming maturity life in which I'm like, no, not really.
Okay, so as you were sharing that, I was thinking Titanfall, right? Exclusive to Xbox first, if I remember correctly. Correct me, chat, right? And then Titanfall 2 went multi-platform. And Titanfall 2 was interesting because the window that it dropped in, right, was like among sharks, right? The scheduling where they dropped it in. And the campaign is supposedly the greatest thing ever for that time for campaigns. But most individuals didn't play it because where it dropped in the window of games, it was really, really bad, right? But I didn't see that much, if you want to, let's just use this word, for Titanfall 2 as much as I saw it for Titanfall 1. And even some conversations we may touch on as it relates to Titanfall later on the show. I think they still give a pull. It could be very interesting on how we react to that, right? Because I was frustrated watching my friend play Uncharted and Unreal Tournament for PlayStation 3 when he was doing mods for Unreal Tournament for PlayStation 3. And I would go back home to Xbox 360 and play Unreal Tournament and didn't have the option to do those same mods, right? So there were things that he was enjoying that I could not enjoy. So I was frustrated because I wanted that experience as well, right? I think to some degree it does have a pull. Games like Halo, right, exclusive to that particular platform, and there's some other games. What's the one with the lady? The PlayStation game. It was a photo opportunity in that game as well. It was a lady. She was at E3 walking with that robotic thing. You know what I'm talking about? That game. I think it's a PlayStation exclusive as well. Horizon Zero Dawn. That's what I think. That does that sound familiar? Did I say it right?
Was that the one?
Horizon something. I think is
Well,
Horizon
Horizon
Zero
Zero
Dawn, right?
Dawn, but that was a PlayStation exclusive. I was
That was
also
an
thinking
exclusive
of
as well,
another
right?
one, but that's an Xbox exclusive.
Right. And then you have games like God of War, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's been exclusive and stuff like that. So Gears, right? So
Gears is an
some of
Xbox
them have pull.
exclusive, but you can also now you can play
Yeah,
Gears on PC as
on
well.
PC. Right, absolutely. You're absolutely correct on that. I think that all is all inclusive of for to bring you to a certain system. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that it's marketing. Like Uncharted and Last of Us, right? Put PlayStation on my radar. I've always loved Xbox more, but I had to play those games. Yeah, I had to play those games. So I was going to the friend's house to play Uncharted 2 until I said, you know what? I need this. I need Uncharted 2 in my life. I don't want to go over there anymore.
I
Right?
don't go there.
I don't want to go over there anymore. But if you guys remember, you know, back when PlayStation 3 first came out, it was like $5.99, right? And I think that I was thinking about this earlier this week, and the marketing was really crazy about how they felt that they had so much value in the system that they believed that $5.99 was good, like
Mm-hmm.
versus all the stuff that was out. Like we believe that our product is that great for you to pay this $5.99 for it, right? And so that was really interesting with that stuff. So, any other thoughts on that? Or are we good?
We're good. We're good.
We are good. We're good. Okay, so would you ever use a fruit scale to alter a console's price? Would you ever use a fruit scale to alter a console's price?
Um,
Backstory, or you want to answer that?
Go ahead with the backstory.
Okay, so according to this particular article, this individual was using a fruit scale in a store that was not necessarily familiar with a console in that environment of a grocery store, and they would use the fruit scale to pay far less for the actual item. So he tried it one time, and according to the article, I believe it worked. And he tried it again, and it didn't work out as well to his favor. So I'm gonna have that article as well to in the show notes. Would you
Okay.
use a fruit scale to alter?
If see that has to do with your moral being.
It does.
It really does. Okay, first of all, going and commenting on what this guy did. It is genius. It really is. But I know this was in the UK. But it sounds
That
still
would
really,
not
really,
good.
really cheap because I think he paid £10 which doesn't sound like a whole lot to me because number 10
It
is sounds
wasn't a
related.
lot.
So 10 pounds
a
for a
lot.
PlayStation 4 or whatever that he sold for 100 pounds when he left the store.
Right.
What fruit was he putting in there to have it come out to 10 pounds? 10 pounds, not in weight, but in money.
Gotta save that money.
That because when I think of the PlayStation box, I'm like, that's a
I
pretty
know.
big box and it's
I
pretty
know.
heavy. So what fruit
I
is
know.
that cheap or whatever? Garlic. Maybe it was using garlic. I have no idea. But
don't
I'm
know.
like, geez, that is.
It's a big box.
Would you get away with it more?
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, I don't know if I would. If I would, I think it's a smart idea. However, I am the type of person that if something rang up wrong and the cashier didn't catch it, or if I'm at the self checkout and it didn't change,
Careful,
I will
Daniela.
not say
Careful.
anything. I will not say
Don't
anything.
incriminate yourself.
I'm just saying.
Don't incriminate yourself on the show, Daniela.
But that's like
I don't wanna
that's
lose
never
you.
happened to me for a console. Like for a video game, I think that I forgot what game it was, but I know it was still like it came out that week and it was supposed to be $60 game, but it rang up at like $15. I said nothing. I said nothing. Like if that's what you want to do and you want to ring me up as, you know what? Who am I to tell you your system is wrong? But I wouldn't
do
purposely
it and
do it.
laugh while walking out the store loudly. All right, so I'm not going to incriminate myself on this episode. This episode 485 of the show radio. If you follow today for the first time and you're going to remain with us, please join the Discord. We appreciate you so much. All right, so I have stories.
Okay.
Yeah, I got stories. how do I address? Okay, so the moral compass when I was younger than I am now was not necessarily a great thing, and I've tried to get away with stuff, and yeah. But I'm here, Daniela. That's the story. I'm here. That's the end of that story. I'm here. All right, so so that's going on with that. Resident Evil 3 remake. We kind of talked about Silent Hill. You compared Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2. You mentioned that Silent Hill will be scarier than Resident Evil 2 remake. Resident Evil 3, would you want to see that? Because that's the word on the street that if the conversation is enough to carry that noise to the makers and creators, they would consider it. Would you want that?
100%. It has to happen. I feel like it already is. And they're just a way of teasing it to make them feel better. I don't know. I think it is happening. But the way that he worded it, like, oh, if we have enough interest, then yeah, sure, we'll make it. I think they are already. And I think that they just want to hear people like, it's kind of like you're fishing for compliments. Like, yes, you're so great. Yes, we do want this. Even though they probably have it in the make. I mean, Resident Evil 3 does fit in perfectly with Resident Evil 2. Like if of all of the Resident Evils that you play, 2 and 3 are like the must, and they must be played one after the other.
I would love Silent Hill remake. Be scared to play it for sure, but it would be amazing. I can't do it.
Zabia, you can come over.
Doing all that for me.
We can play it together. We can be scared together.
Danielle is doing all that for me. All of it as it relates to these scary games. All right, so that's what's going on there. Anthem open to all this weekend, right? I believe that ends tomorrow. Correct me on that. If it's not tomorrow, I believe it is tomorrow. Anthem open to all. Are you still invested in what BioWare is showing us? Are you still invested? Is this a fleeting moment? Right? As it relates to the game? BioWare has teased you should tune in towards the end of this weekend to get a glimpse at its future plans for the game.
Sorry, I couldn't not laugh at that one.
You could read it. I'm trying to stay focused. I'm trying to ask these questions. Come on, folks. Work with me here.
Xavier says, I have black instincts, okay, and prohibits me from playing horror games.
I can't. Okay, so what happens to the who always dies first? Why are you laughing? Come on, Daniela. Talk to me.
Because in horror movies, it's always a black guy that should be the smart one.
Always. Always.
It's always the smart one. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna go that way.
All right, so let's get back to this point. Let's get back to this point, okay? Are we still invested in what we're seeing with BioWare and Anthem, right? Are we still hype? Are we still excited? What's the word?
I think
what's
it's
the,
definitely a hit or miss. It is 100% a hit or miss. I haven't even had the
Okay.
time to go and try it out myself. Like I was
Same.
I was just really super busy with a lot of stuff. So hopefully maybe tonight I can jump in, at least try for a little bit.
Same.
I did try to in the VIP demo, I tried to. But like I think I mentioned before, I couldn't get the mission started. It just hung up on that constantly. Yeah, the social area, really pretty, really nice. See, now it's you. You can read that
funny. One. The black guy and then the virgins. That's it's just in that order. That's what's happening. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I mean, the soldier area looks really nice, and I see that potential of it happening. But for me, I haven't gotten firsthand experience of being able to play it. I'm going off of the experience that my friends have right now, and right now for them, they said it's like it has that potential, but there's certain things that don't make you feel, I guess, accomplished in them.
Okay.
And even though
is it like an empty experience? Like, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm going off of their experience. I'm sorry that I can't have my own personal ones, but the number one thing is like when in Destiny or in any type of like RPG game and where you're leveling up or you get a really nice drop or you unlock something, there's always that visual and audio notification that makes you kind of feel good of like, yeah, you got this.
The chime, right?
Yeah.
The chime, right.
Apparently, that's lacking in Anthem.
Okay, so it lacks a sense of accomplishment with the item that you just picked up or won after a fight. Aaron, give me some info, because I know you played it. So give us some scoops on that. And depending on what time it ends tomorrow, because I'm not going to be here most of the day tomorrow because of the game and just going to be hanging out with family, eating some food or somewhere. But it's 12 a.m. right now, Eastern time, right? So it's Sunday morning, right? So if I start a stream tonight and play Anthem, I don't know how much of that I can get, how much of it I can play, really. But
Aaron thinks that seems silly what they're feeling.
Okay. All right. Elaborate on that if you could. So the it looks beautiful, right? I can't really judge the game because I don't have any playtime, right? I think the best thing that I need to do is, even if the stream is short tonight after this, and if you join the Discord, you'll see when we go live on that stuff. I need to experience it before it comes out because it comes out the week of the 16th, I think, or something like that. Because there's a lot of games popping up right now. Because Division's right around the corner, Dead or Alive's right around the corner. Anthem is, I think, the week of the 16th, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. But yeah, you don't get the exotic Bing from Destiny and Anthem, right? Okay.
So to go with that, I don't know if I'm a type of person who likes those things, but I can understand feeling a certain way about not having it because you got to consider. I mean, we've been gaming. I think the 360 or PS3, the previous generation, is the first to implement it. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was on anything else. But you have like the Xbox achievements. You have the PlayStation trophies that when they pop up, it kind of gives you that good feeling of like, oh, I did this. Oh, I achieved that thing, or I unlocked this.
Right.
that we're sort of conditioned to expect those things for our accomplishments. So when you don't have it,
Right.
even though it's something so tiny and so small,
It matters.
it does. It really does matter. You don't feel like you're getting that kudos for the effort that you put in, even though technically you did earn it. You have it. It's in your inventory. Oh, you got this really cool gun or sword or javelin, whatever it may be. You still have it,
Right.
but it's just that little audio or visual cue.
Yeah. Okay. So they just made available the Whisper of the Worm pretty much all the time now, right? And for the individuals that were like, okay, I have to wait till the weekend to get it. Friday shows up, you have to go to a particular section on IO, and then you're hanging on IO, waiting for this thing to happen, and then finally it happens, right? And then you're excited to get this Whisper of the Worm sniper rifle, right? Once you get the sniper rifle, especially where you have to go through just to get it, it is like amazing, right? And the sound that you get for the exotic stuff and all those drops, as you said, is one of the most rewarding sounds. Okay, I'll give you another one. Forget Destiny for a second because I love Destiny. I could talk about it all day. The headshot sound for Division. Okay,
The
if you
headshot
played the
sound for
Division,
Gears.
the headshot sound for Gears. Okay, we can go on, right? It's like the most satisfying thing in those games, right? Because you worked for it, you got it, and it's like the game rewards you with that noise, if you will, right? That satisfying sound of it's amazing, right? It's just one of those things, right?
It really is. And it's something that's so tiny and then so small. It's not like they dislike the game, but it kind of left like, did I really accomplish it?
Uh-oh.
If I didn't hear it, kind of thing. It's really
Uh-oh.
weird.
Hi, Aaron. Bye, Aaron. So yeah, so that's what's going on with that.
It's one of those things. And I the other complaints, I guess, were, I think, minor things that I heard for people who got to play it that I don't think is going to be in the final version, because it was kind of like a demo. It was a little practice. Was how long, or unlocking the additional javelins, which I think at the ending of the VIP they did eventually unlock all of the javelins for you to go
Okay.
and try out. But that was kind of it. I felt like a lot of the feedback that I got from the people who got to play it was like, if it kind of is almost a replacement for Destiny in a way, but in a different world. It's not like it was trying to replace Destiny. It was just giving you another option or another enjoyment. You did all your weekly stuff for Destiny or stuff, or you tapped out on your
Right.
levels. Here's Anthem to go and try and put some time into.
Okay, so I'm going to build on what you said just now. It's not trying to replace Destiny, but this blueprint that Destiny did, man, shaped a lot of different games. And I'll go even before Destiny, because I know we give credit to Destiny and the team and what Bungie has done. That's great. But if you guys ever see or experience the game Lost Planet, and then you see games like Destiny, Division, and all these similar like games, or even what they were trying to attempt to do in Halo 5 Guardians, right? To make adjustments for what the market was asking for as it relates to these games. This format, this drop in, drop out, in game stuff. We've seen it before, right? And it was before Destiny. It predates that, it's blueprints over blueprints, right? The Metroidvania stuff was because of how dope Metroid was, right? Anyway, that kind of a thing. Is PlayStation done with is PlayStation done with PS4? Are they moving on? Is this a slowdown before the new thing?
I don't know if I would use done.
Talk
Definitely
to me.
done with PS3.
Talk to me.
I think it's on the slowdown. I think it's on the ramping down of PlayStation 4. I don't think they're completely done with it.
Okay.
I think they are going to be putting into their efforts into PS5 for sure. I don't expect a PS5 announcement this year. Obviously, they're going to be missing. They're not going to be at E3. So I'm not expecting that this year at all. But
Okay.
I did tweet out a few days ago that hands down, I'm just calling it that Death Stranding will be their opening title for their PS5, and I'm okay
I
with
saw
that
that.
because
I saw that.
Death Stranding, I think Hideo Kojima also said that they're still a ways from having that completed. I'm not in any like huge rush to play. Yeah, I want to play it, but I'm not like a huge rush to have it in my hands right now. I want them to take their time with it and do whatever they need. But I think that the PS5 is a couple years out here at this point.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. So you're looking forward to some additional games for PlayStation 4 before sunsetting, if you want to use that, right? Before PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I think as far as like PlayStation 4 games go, I think they're still gonna like have a nice long continuation of games for it. At least like this is me guessing and estimating. So if the PS5 was to
Right.
come out in 2021, I think 2 years is a nice round number there. That they would still like continue to support the PS4 and have games available for that well current gen. Um, Maybe at least a few years after. I just
Okay.
don't think they're completely done with it.
Okay. What we got in chat? What's happening in chat right now?
Zabia says, I honestly hope Anthem isn't too like Destiny, but that's coming from someone that hasn't really enjoyed Destiny, though I know it works for other people. I'm with you on Zabia. Like, I'm not really a huge Destiny person. Reef says, I think it's aiming to be more like Warframe.
Interesting.
Aaron hates Warframe.
Warframe is dope, Aaron. What are you talking about, bro?
I see it. Okay, actually, you know what? Funny enough, that is another comment that I did hear about from
Right.
that Sharif says that it's kind of aiming to be more like Warframe, but with the less of the grind, because Warframe is super grind heavy.
It
Um,
is.
but I do enjoy Warframe. It's a really good
I'm
game.
curious.
I'm
I'm
glad I
curious when you
revisited it.
last played it. When did you last play it, Aaron? How long ago? How many updates ago? Or was it recent? Go ahead, Daniela.
Aaron also sees it more like Mass Effect with Destiny qualities. And then Zabia, off of that subject, goes, if Final Fantasy VII Remake is on PS5, I'll be pissed. I'd still get it, but I'd get it angrily.
Exclusive. You'll get it. You definitely get it. Yeah, so that's an interesting conversation, right? As every thing is heading in that direction and we're talking about PlayStation 5, maybe we'll see some more glimpses and rumors and conversations surrounding that leading up to GDC. I don't know. Maybe E3 stuff. I don't know, but it's getting exciting. It's getting exciting. I played it before D1 as a primer. Aaron,
No, you need to try Warframe
Aaron,
again. Because that's how
bro,
I felt. That's how I felt about Warframe. I really didn't like it initially. I super didn't like it. I revisited it. It is so good.
I'm glad I asked. If you want me to stream it, bro, I will. Just let me know. We can have a good party doing that. Okay, so that's what's going on with that. Sony patent hinting towards backwards compatibility. Are you convinced? Do you care? We kind of touched on that. Any additional notes? We can talk about that in chat. Backwards compatibility. Do you still care about backwards compatibility?
I think
Danielle,
everybody
what's up?
should care about backwards compatibility. I think that's a huge thing, and it would be a great selling point for their future consoles.
Fair
It
enough.
just needs to be a thing. It really does. I don't think there should be anything that's debatable about that.
Okay, so based on the conversations, I could be swayed. I've seen it since, and I'm not interested. All right, so we could technically get 2 Titanfall games this year, right? Could, right? So the conversation that's surrounding Titanfall right now is this product that everybody seems to love, right? This battle royale product, which we've talked about on the show before, where it sells. If it's done well, we will still see it until it doesn't sell anymore. We've seen it with, you can name it, right? Realm Royale. We see it with Blackout. We've seen it with Fortnite. We've seen it with the game from Cliff Blazinski that didn't do well with the Bicycle Royale game. That
I
is
can't remember the name anymore. That's so sad. And it was
right.
actually pretty good.
That's gone, right? That we have games like I don't think
There is a
Paladin's gonna do that.
mod there. Yeah, Radical
Right.
Heights.
Radical Heights.
There is
We've
a
seen it with
mod
that.
for Stardew Valley to be a battle royale. So
Right. So
that's out there.
High Res Studios version of the Royale game is Realm Royale, which I think Gutter you were playing recently, if I remember seeing that correctly. I see things and I just make notes, right? So you have all those things, and now they're yesterday. Wow. Okay. So now they're considering this Titanfall battle royale game that could rumors, right? Rumors. Maybe Monday. And I'm kind of excited about it because Titanfall 2 plays really well. Titanfall 1 played really well.
Does it
right?
have the robot in there or the mech still?
It does not. So the rumor on the street, the word on the street is this battle royale game will not have the mechs, the Titans, right? But yet the pilot, the skill set of the pilot, if they do like an Overwatch blend, Paladins blend of this game, this game will hit really, really well, right? We knew Blackout was going to do well for Call of Duty. We knew that because they were putting so much into it, and look how that turned out. And for you guys playing on a regular basis, you see how that turned out. Blackout is pretty good. Fortnite, obviously, right? Pretty good. Realm Royale is on the up and up, right? As you said, 8-hour stream. Something must be good about it. So now we see this, right? We see this Titanfall free to play battle royale potentially next week. And then maybe later on in the year we get Titanfall 3 if they're working on it, I don't know. But if they are, we could potentially get 2 games. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, Xavier says, not sure how they feel about Titanfall's battle royale. It feels like they're trying to revive the game with the BR equation, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, you got to do, if you want to keep your game remaining relevant, you're going to have that. I mean, you wouldn't charge more for it, so it makes sense to have it for the free to play.
Right.
And it is really basically COD with a wall running, except that, what's funny is that a lot of people.
Is that fair for Titanfall though?
Well, that's the
Is
thing.
it?
That's what I find it very interesting about Titanfall is that there's people that I
Okay.
know that preferred Titanfall over COD, except that because of their terrible days to release, it gets kind of like it goes under the radar or it's ignored because of games like Battlefield and Call of Duty.
Right. Fair. Okay.
So
But the
it's a
statement that you
different.
made, Call of Duty, it's a well run. Is that fair to the game? Is what I'm asking.
I don't know. I don't have that kind of experience. I know what the mechanics are like, but as far
Right.
as like the movements and the idea,
Right.
I don't think
and
it's fair,
the reason I asked that, right, is that I think it's so good that people overlook. It's really a masterpiece that with the source material that they use for the game, which wasn't anything that super new, right? With the way the team broke up from the Modern Warfare situation to do their own thing to even bring that game out, right? So there's a great story there, and to seeing how the game came out and performed and can stand on its own, where there's still a community, not huge, but there's still a community playing it. I think it doesn't get the props that it deserves. That's my opinion. I could be wrong.
jetpacks are ridiculous. Um, I think it's kind of unfair to any game, not just Titanfall game. I think it's unfair to any game where it's compared to a game that's similar. And it's just because people are going to relate a game to something that's close enough to it. I just don't think it's very fair to the game that you're talking about. Like saying like, oh, Titanfall is like COD. Just because COD is like the closest thing to a shooter. I mean, how about Titanfall is like Titanfall?
It's good. it's good, and I agree. Heavy hitters release window was was not a good thing for them. Any more on that?
Yeah, Titanfall should like release during the spring. Far, far away
They should have their
from
own
COD.
space.
Yeah, they should. Just go make your own space. Go when no shooters are like high, like big hit shooters are like released.
Anthem and Warframe have been called Destiny killers. Not a fan of that term.
I
There's been
think that's
Halo
the thing.
killers, right? That
I
didn't work.
agree. I agree that with that so much is that people are
Word.
assuming that a game is gonna. I don't like the assumption that a game is like another game or a game is going to
Right.
destroy another game. Like there's so much BRs, but I don't. I'm kind of guilty of this as far as BR goes. Like Fortnite really does dominate like the entire genre. It's really
does.
sad it is. But I'm never gonna think of a BR that's gonna come out that is that's cool. Like I'm not gonna think of like, oh, it's gonna take out Fortnite, it's gonna pull away from Fortnite, or it's gonna do any of this. And even if Fortnite didn't exist and you only had Realm Royale and let's say Radical Heights, if that didn't go away,
Right.
they're kind of in the competition together, but I don't feel like they are there to take each other out in a way. Yeah, they're going to try to persuade, gamers to want to play one console or the other, but really just like games are games. Love them.
Absolutely.
Like variety. Like I don't like having or putting out that persona or that idea that there's going to be just one game that's better than the other just because it falls into the same genre. Like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, I love horror games. I would never think that one is greater than the other. They're equally great, amazing games, and they're just as much as like I love Fatal Frame, which is another great horror game there is. I don't like that comparison in so much of a ways, even though that is something that is very easy to relate to. If you're trying to describe a game to somebody that they've never seen or never experienced, the first thing you're going to do is like, oh, well, it's like this one, but it doesn't do this as great. When you're doing those kind of comparisons, it's really hard because what's great to one person may not be great to another. So you're already putting a game at a disadvantage. Like what if you're comparing Titanfall, it's like, oh, it's like a wall running COD. Well, what if that person doesn't like COD? But because you said it's like COD, they'd be like, okay, it's not for me. I don't want to play it. Where they could have very easily been like, I really like Titanfall though.
Yeah. It goes back with the Overwatch and Paladins conversation. People see Paladins or see, pics or videos of it. They're like, I don't want to do that because it's like Overwatch, and I like, so you have that. Gutter says, I just love games. I wish it wasn't always compared over and over. And then another game that I think is being teased a lot lately, since they dropped the video for the Game Awards, Scavengers. I've been really pumped and hyped and stoked and excited about what I'm seeing for Scavengers, and they're dropping, pictures of, worlds that are hostile and all the stuff that they're doing. And if there's any game that's going to be, in my eyes, not seen anything yet, I get so much of a Lost Planet vibe because of the snow and the dangers of the world. And it may be a drop in, drop out type game, PvP, VE type game, right? The formulas that we're seeing that are very, very popular, and they're supposed to be dropping some kind of beta for us to play because they mentioned to subscribe during not subscribe, but you know what I mean. Sign up during the Game Awards right away, and I just got up and I went to the other room and I just put my email in there, because I'm ready. And so I'm excited for games like Scavengers and stuff like that. So a couple of more things and then we'll get out of here, guys. We talked about the Titanfall stuff. That was an interesting conversation. The free-to-play model is really, really popular. It's great marketing, right? So I've been playing a good portion of maybe last week or maybe about a week and a half removed. I did a long stream of Dead or Alive 5, right? Core Fighters, which is free in a marketplace, and that's great marketing for them and for individuals who've never seen Dead or Alive before, they dropped in on that particular stream, saw Dead or Alive, and they may be interested in Dead or Alive 6. That was great. And even during that particular time, they had the discounted the discounted character pack, if you want to say that, of all the characters for Dead or Alive. So we're looking at Dead or Alive free to play post launch for Dead or Alive 6. Is that a winning formula? Do you see that as the thing to do for most of these titles, dropping a free to play portion of their game and still capitalizing on new customers, new consumers?
I think that is almost the way to go right now. Um, and it's funny. I'm gonna have to bring up Fortnite again for this one, even though um, Dead or Alive isn't a battle royale. I would be amazed if one day it would be. But that formula for Epic works so well for them because obviously they've made I don't know, so much money over the past year just over skins. It's not a benefit of like you get a better gun or anything that makes the game unfair. It's just skins. That I think people are getting used to having that like, well, I just want to pay for what I want to pay for, and be able for them to control that. I think only specific hard hitting games people don't really complain about that so much. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's a nice option to have, but I don't know if I want it. As a consumer, I don't know. I guess it's nice to have that freedom to spend how much or support the developers or the game as much as you want.
Right. So there was correct me if I'm wrong, chat, Daniela. There was a 30-minute Resident Evil thing, right? Prior to launch. Right?
The one shot demo.
Right. So what would get you interested? Is it the time frame of how close it is to launch, or having it at all? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So as we were talking about Dead or Alive 6, they're doing post-launch E3 post-launch, or Destiny release window post-launch, which is usually September. Like, so how far out would you be like, you know what? Let me check that out.
After released, I think.
Months later?
I think when it starts kind of slowing down and dying down.
Okay, so here's the time frame. So Dead or Alive is releasing the first week of March, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dead or Alive 6. So it releases, reviews come out, whatever. People are playing it. They're playing it heavy. Fighting game community is excited. They want esports for it really bad. They may consider another movie that may be potentially better than the one that they released in 2006, right? All that stuff. So March, then boom, everybody's making a push towards E3. We're talking about hotels. We're talking about flights. We're talking about approvals, waiting for approvals. And then E3 passes, right? Nintendo does their thing. They give you a YouTube video, right? So after the YouTube video, E3 is done. Everybody's trying to relax now. So we have July, we have August. So August, September?
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, that is very interesting. I don't know.
It's an interesting conversation to have. You want to think about it some more, and then we'll revisit it?
I think August, September is too late. Because yeah, I mean, you got the whole E3 hype coming up and things that are going, but it's not like every person is going to E3.
This is true.
It isn't. So, and it's not like every gamer pays attention to what's happening at E3. I'm still amazed by the fact that I know so many people who don't know what E3 is, when it happens, or what's the purpose of it. But I think that's too long. You got to go for that, that casual player base. You're I would say when it starts slowing down as far as sales, having that free to play option. I mean, yeah, the one shot demo was really great. That happened before, but if you really want people to go and try it out and see what it's like, I mean, Steam does a great thing where they have a free to play weekend, and so they change out the titles very often. And we were like, oh, you can play this game all weekend long. It's the full entire game. And then you know what? Come Monday, it's no longer free. Free to play is gone. If you really like it, you'll jump in. And I think having an entire weekend is a great way to show people like if they would really like a game or not, and to really get them hooked. If they really liked it and they're really hooked, yeah, come Monday when it's no longer free, they're gonna buy it.
Okay, fair enough. I think I just messed up the notes here. How do I go back? Oh man, I love that feature, right? That's great. That just saved me a lot of time. All right, so that's what's going on with that, guys. You guys are quiet in chat. Talk to us. Let us know what you think about. Okay, so, what's going on? One more thing. The last thing we already talked about, so I'm gonna take that out. Is community input the ideal way for game development to progress? Right. So, backstory. So, some hacker person went into the Destiny stuff and saw that the reward system was very interesting as it relates to how we were getting rewards and how fast we were getting the rewards. That sent Destiny 2 and the Bungie team in a very, very bad place. And
Yeah.
they had to go back and be more transparent about the stuff that they needed to do and share. Then they had a summit after that and all that stuff. And now Destiny's in a better place, right? They're making adjustments to going independent again, and the game, the last word stuff is a conversation, all that, excitement and everything like that. And then now we have a 17-year vet recently, I guess, being added or working heavily. The job title is specifically to talk to us, to give input about what Halo should be for the next iteration, which is Halo Infinite. Is that how we should look at our games now? Right? Because it wasn't always like that.
Yes and no. I'm gonna go on a few different things because, all right, we'll start off with the one that it went terrible for.
Okay.
Amazon Game Studios game Breakaway. Breakaway, and I'm so sad about that. They're the first game in which I had firsthand experience in which the developers were so hands-on in taking our input and listening to the community and making these changes and putting these considerations, but they did it way too much. They put too much weight into what the community was going, and I was part of this community, but I was also the part of like, let them do what they think is right, and we'll play what it is, and we'll give the feedback of like, maybe tweak this a little bit, but just don't like people in that Discord were like, oh, this needs to be this may end at this, but it was more of people like giving their feedback and their comments of what they felt was an improvement more for their play style rather than the community and the whole player base that Amazon was trying to go with. And then you tie in with them trying to make so many changes to the game, plus the bad marketing. I personally think that is what the failure of what that game came to be. Breakaway had a huge potential to be an awesome game. But even things from like people making comments of like, oh, this character looks too much like this one from this game, that they went and just completely changed the character overall or changed the name. And I'm like, you really didn't have to. Like, you have to weigh out like comments that are really good and constructive and that you should implement, and then ones that are just like, well, who are you trying to appease to, you know? And I think they should have definitely held back quite a bit. Then I think Amazon learned from that a great deal, especially for their other games. But those other games are still going on and being developed. And that was possibly the worst example I could give of a game developer taking their community input. The game just never took off. But you have games like Breach. Breach was in development. It had its own Discord, and it took feedback. It took comments, and oh my goodness, let me go and just deal with this really quick. They took the feedback, they took the comments, but they picked and choose what they felt was right for the direction that they were going in. And that game is currently out in early access on Steam. I'm enjoying it. It has some bugs to it still, but it's still an enjoyable game, and it's maintaining what their goal was. I think
Okay.
if you give the community too much say or power, it gives that audience like the sense of entitlement. And really, I don't think we deserve to have that much power. That's too much power for the consumer, for the player base to have. It's great for them to hear it and apply it as the studio sees fit for their game. And that's a nice thing. It has to be a balance in between it. It's like I don't want them to completely not listen to the community and not listen to their player base and just ignore what we want, but you can't give us everything we want. And the thing is, we can adjust to that. We can adapt to it. It's either we're going to like
Right.
it or love it, but we're going to adapt to it. And
I dig it.
yeah, just a
No, I dig
balance.
it. I dig it. I'm concerned because I enjoyed watching the 60 frames per second game that was Halo 5, right? That is Halo 5, I should say. Game still runs well. There's still a great community supporting it and all that, right? But I think that the changes that they were trying to implement in Halo 5 didn't pan out as they thought it would based on what we're expecting the game to be, right? So now you have an opportunity to right the wrongs, if you will, of the previous title, which is Halo 5. So Halo Infinite is the next one on deck, and they want to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes that they made with Halo 5 with Halo Infinite. So I'm concerned, but if they're making adjustments to, I mean, there's stuff that they already do well. Foundationally, the multiplayer component of Halo has always been great as far as I can remember, right? And it's become, and that during its time was a blueprint for a lot of games that were considering the multiplayer stuff later on, right? So there are things that it did well. The story, the lore, the books, and all those things that was attached to Halo still is a great thing. And now we're seeing all those things being implemented in games like Destiny and even other games that have this format, this blueprint of drop in, drop out, PvP, PvE, end game, format games. That there's a whole bunch of lore and the community is creating lore around it so we understand the world better. But they can't mess this up, because if they mess this up, if they mess up Halo Infinite, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for them, and they know that. So to hire somebody that has great experience, uh, hopefully in the conversation that they're considering having with the community for this title, to make the game the best game that it can be, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to look like. We're good.
We're good.
We're good. So that's all. That's all we have, guys. Episode 485. If you did follow today, if you've been checking out the actual show and you have not followed, please consider following us. Definitely hit up the Discord, !Discord. That can get you in there and hang out with us. I post links to different things, pictures, and all that fun stuff. Articles that I see, software that I see that can help out. AMA. If you have any questions, you can ask us in there in the Discord. Also, Danielle, if there's somebody that you want to raid, I guess feel free to do that as we begin to wrap up. Definitely check us out, theshowradio.info. If you want to check out Miss DJM, you can find her at Miss DJM. I believe that's her Instagram as well as her Twitch. I am Uriah, which is my Instagram and my Twitch. The blog is theshowradio.info. Yeah, and that's all I have, Danielle. If you want to rate somebody, feel free to do that, guys. Thanks for hanging out, adding to the conversation. I'm looking forward to doing more shows like this where we're asking questions and just getting your experience in the show as well. So you're just as part of it as well as us preparing it for you. So, yeah, Take it away, Danielle. Whatever you got.
Man, you put me on the spot to rate. I'm like, who can I go to right now?
Whoever you want to rate. That's the
Man,
beauty of it. It's the beauty of it. I'm
I
done.
don't know.
I'm done talking.
I don't know.
485. I'm done.
Thank you.
I'm finito.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for hanging out with Sabia, for Aaron, for Reeve. You guys are all awesome. Yeah, I guess until next time, you guys enjoy the Super Bowl. I hope your team wins. I don't even know what's playing, okay? All right. I'm gonna before I get like bashed for that one.
Rams. Patriots, Rams.
Rams, because they sound like the underdog. I'm pretty sure I heard the Patriots name up there way too many times this year, so I'm gonna stick with the Rams. I'm gonna go with that.
Be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, guys, we'll catch you guys later.